General Michael Flynn's military career included a key role in shaping U.S. counterterrorism strategy and dismantling insurgent networks in the Afghanistan and Iraq wars. He was given numerous combat arms, conventional, and special operations senior intelligence assignments. He became the 18th director of the Defense Intelligence Agency in July 2012. And he was the 24th U.S. National Security Advisor for the Trump administration. You want intelligence? This guy's got it in spades. This is Inside the SCIF with General Michael Flynn.
Okay, everybody, welcome to Inside the SCIF. I'm General Mike Flynn, and today we have a great show, and I'm going to be bringing in a special guest here that I've gotten to know fairly recently and certainly have known about him, and I'll mention his name here in a second. I'll let him introduce himself, actually. For the people that are coming into Inside the SCIF, a SCIF is a secure compartmented intelligence facility, and usually inside of a SCIF you get presentations on things that you would not hear anywhere else. And I typically talk about things that are happening both in terms of international affairs, like the various wars that we are involved in overseas in Europe and the Middle East, as well as I will talk a little bit later on today about the recent incursions by China into Japanese airspace. It's the first time in the history that has occurred since China became a nation state back after post-World War II. So this is a big breaking news deal, and the mainstream media will not talk about that. And that's typically what I discuss when I do these shows, are things that matter to the United States of America's national security, both foreign and domestic. I will touch on some of the domestic issues in play that I am aware of. I am going to talk a little bit about election integrity, and for those that follow me on my various social media platforms, particularly on X, I'm at Gen Flynn, or on Truth Social at True Gen Flynn, and I'm on 7 other social media platforms that people can find me either at generalflynn.com or flynnmovie.com. And again, I'll touch on those at the end. But today, I have a really, really special guest, a young man who will be voting in the upcoming November presidential election. And it'll be the first time that he's had the privilege to be able to vote. His name is Bo Loudon. A lot of people know him on other social media platforms. And Bo, it's a real treat for me to be able to have you on Inside the SCIF today. And I do think from the perspective of what I talk about inside the SCIF, as you just heard some of the things, I think one of the areas that I want to really bring out in our conversation, after I give you a chance to kind of introduce yourself here in a little bit, is I want to bring out what I believe is one of the big issues of our time, and that is how America's youth must now get involved in the political lifeblood of our country. And I think it's something that you have done in a really admirable, actually a very noble way. And I think the cause that you have taken on because of the things that you see in terms of the future are really, it's inspiring to me. And that's why I'm so glad that we were able to come on. So I want to just say welcome to you. And what I'd like to do, Bo, is just tell the audience a little bit about your background and how they can find you and where you're heading. Like, what are the kinds of things that inspire you? What are the kinds of things that matter to you? And again, just a little bit about who you are and a little bit about your background.
Well, my background is, I'm just a very blessed kid with 2 awesome parents who are very on fire for the Lord and very politically active. And they definitely inspired me. My dad's a former state senator from Missouri. And he does tons of political fundraising projects and things like that, and raised a lot of money for Trump and helped with all that. My mom's doing the same. And she, of course, she's been doing media for as long as I can remember. She had a radio show back in Alabama when we lived there, and a couple of different shows. She was on Trump's media advisory board, and she defended him on all the mainstream, liberal networks. And now she has her own show. So yeah, she's just inspired me and my dad as well. And from that, I wanted to get into politics, and so here we are. I'm getting into politics now, and I just want to help. I just want to help Trump win this election in any way I can. I post on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok a little bit now even, and yeah, I'm just at Bo Loudon on anything.
And I know you just celebrated an amazing birthday where you turned 18, which is just which is an awesome. Yeah, what a time to be alive, boy, and inspiring too. You're a real inspiration. So first, how do people find you? So where do people go to find you?
Just like I said, Instagram, Twitter, even True Social is the one name that I have different. It's just at Bo. But on anything else, it's at Bo Loudon, my full name, BOLOUDON. And yeah, I just post on there about anything I can to support Trump. I mean, here's one thing I mainly post recently, is all the acts of kindness and things that Trump did in the 80s, because people don't realize how much of a stand-up guy Trump was. And not just before when he was, president. They'll say people get into politics and they have to make themselves look good. But Trump has really been doing some amazing things since as long as anyone can find him on a camera, way back to the 80s, before then even. And none of this gets picked up in the media for some reason. So I've been putting it out myself on all my social medias. And now I'm even getting messages from people saying, wow, I'm glad you're putting all this out. Trump did this for my family in the 80s as well. He just goes around paying off people's mortgages and things like that. It's really inspiring. So that's one of the things I've been posting lately, and it's been doing very well.
I witnessed in the times that I traveled with Trump during the 2016 campaign, I witnessed some of those that people will never, they'll never see. The media will never cover it. So you're right. Mm-hmm. I mean, there are just acts of kindness that, despite how they try to define Donald J. Trump, there are so many things that he has done for so many people when nobody else is looking, right? And I think that's the real measure of a person's character. So let me ask you, as you start to think about what we're experiencing, you're a young man, and like I said, your story is really inspiring. The way that you engage your audiences and the way that you are shaping a future of this country, why do you think right now that and I would just kind of categorize it as the 18 to probably 30 to maybe 35-year-old, that age group, what matters most for them, and why are you driven to kind of get your message across?
Well, I think what matters for them is Kamala Harris will tell you that all of the 18 to 24-year-olds are stupid. And, it says a lot about what she thinks of them, but I don't think they are. Quite frankly, I think they're curious, and I think that anything you present in front of their face, they're going to take it a certain way. But I think they're curious enough that they're not going to fall for things like Kamala Harris buying off all these celebrities to come and attend the DNC and perform at her rallies. And she's messaging people on social media, and a lot of them are saying, no, I don't want your money. I don't want to support you. I'm not going to be paid off. Then you have people like Trump, who is obviously not paying these people, and he gets these mega celebrities, and they just want to support him because they know they're on the right side. So when you put something like that in front of a Gen Zer, they're going to be like, wow, that's really interesting. My favorite celebrity is supporting this guy, and he's not paying them to do it. They just want to support him because he must be pretty good, And that's kind of what we're noticing. And even in a poll just done by the Survey USA, Trump was actually at a 4 or 5 point lead over Kamala Harris with Gen Z voters. So I think he's going to take Gen Z voters, and I think they're interested. And they're not having enough policy, real policy put in front of their faces. But Trump will put out real policy, and he'll put out even Kamala Harris's policies. Kamala Harris won't even put out her own policies. She'll just go and lie about Trump and say, oh, he's going to do Project 2025. And, oh, even though Trump's publicly denounced that probably like 4 times now. So
right. Well, I mean, the other thing too that really bugged me over the weekend is they keep saying that how Trump called out our military when he was over in Europe, and the whole Normandy Beach thing where he couldn't get there because of the weather, and and they use this really ugly language that they attribute to Trump, and one of the guys that attributes it is one of his former employees, I guess, Chief of Staff John Kelly, and as I heard that, I was like, I just know Trump doesn't talk like that, And it's you're exactly right. They're going to lie about damn near everything that they are telling the American people, because they know that they don't have anything to really stand on. So speaking of that, like what do you think matters most to a Gen Z, or what matters most right now? Like what is it that drives them, and what would cause them to say, you know what, I'll go vote? Because the voting numbers in that age category are generally not great. The percentages of people that are 18 to 30 that go out and vote is generally not that high. So what are the kinds of things that would motivate somebody? What do they need to hear?
I think they just need to hear that someone's not lying to their faces. Trump will come out here and he'll say what he's going to do, and he'll say that he's going to do no tax on tips. He'll say that he's going to close the border. And then you have Kamala Harris, who goes out and says the same things the next week while she's the one in office. She's the vice president. Right. She can do this stuff now. She keeps telling everyone she's going to do things on day 1. I think she's on day 1,315. So, we're not gonna fall for that. So, I mean, she can come out and continue touting Trump's policies and telling us what she's going to do. But I don't think Gen Z is falling for it. I really don't think we are. And Trump is very clear on what he's going to do. I mean, Trump has a great track record, for one. They're saying all these terrible things about him. He's gonna make it so gay people can't go into stores and buy food, and he's gonna close down the country with Project 2025, and they're gonna kill transgender people. Like, I don't even know what they're saying he's gonna do. But he was president already. If he really had all these terrible plans, he would have done them then. But all we know that he did as president was amazing things, like raising $600 million in efforts against child sex slavery, and his border policy, closing down the border, stuff like that. And he passed 9 pieces of legislation against child sex trafficking. I mean, that's what we know he did. We don't have all this track record. He made our economy thrive, and obviously that's what he's going to do again.
Yeah, and I think that you're right. I think it's you base things based on what people have already demonstrated that they're capable of doing. Never mind having a great business track record as a businessman, and I mean as a business magnate, and doing all the things that he did for so many people, but also what he did as president of the United States while he was the president. And anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to go on a break here, folks, and we're going to come right back. And I want to ask Bo Loudon, our special guest, Bo Loudon, who's great, and I'm going to have him, let you know where you can find him. He's at Bo Loudon on a lot of things, or I think he said at just Bo on True Social, but I may have screwed that up, Bo. So we'll make sure that we get that right when you come back. But I'm going to ask Bo some intimate questions about what drives him personally and what motivates him to get out of bed every day to get stuff done and to inspire a new generation of people. So when we come back from the break, we'll be back inside the SCIF with General Mike Flynn. See you in a bit. Ladies and gentlemen, this is General Mike Flynn, and I'm inviting you to join me on September 4th at 4 p.m. Eastern. That's September 4th, 4 p.m. Eastern. Mark that on your calendars. We'll be live on Patriot TV. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking only to our Patriot TV defenders for an exclusive discussion, a Q&A, if you will. Your presence is crucial as we dive into the matters that shape our great nation. And again, this is only for the Patriot TV. So if you go to patriot.tv, you can register today. There's a banner at the top of the website. You can sign up for September 4th, 4 p.m. Eastern. Together, let's stand strong for America's future. God bless you, and God bless America.
Sounds rolling. All 3 cameras. We're good.
Handling speed.
Is there any regrets that you have in life? I should sit here and say, yeah, I got a lot of I got a lot of regrets. But when I look back on my life and I understand the lives that were lost, I mean, I'm sitting here with you. And I can tell my story.
Former National Security Advisor Lieutenant General Michael Flynn pleaded guilty today to lying to the FBI.
He was one of the most respected generals in the military.
He was, by definition, the most dangerous possible person for Donald Trump to hire.
Brilliant military career, serving 33 years.
Why was he being so elusive?
Mike Flynn told the truth and faced life in prison.
Every American needs this historical DVD keepsake. Flynn delivered the truth, whatever the cost. Hand signed by General Michael Flynn, one of America's most treasured military heroes. Order now at the Patriot TV store. Go to Patriot TV, click on Store, and grab a once-in-a-lifetime chance to own a treasured piece of American history. And get your own personal download link to watch America's most talked-about movie, as well as a DVD hand-signed by General Michael Flynn. Use promo code PTV at checkout to get special savings. The Patriot TV store. Incredible savings and a secure, hassle-free shopping experience.
The world is about to shift. Banks are going cashless globally with the emergence of central bank digital currency, which will bring with it programmable money and the ability to turn on or off your purchasing power based on your digital social profile. It's like the equivalent of spyware in your bank account. You need to get out of the system with the world's safest and most precious assets, silver and gold. Call Kirk Elliott Precious Metals at 720-605-3900. That's 720-605-3900.
Welcome back, everybody, to Inside the SCIF with General Mike Flynn and my special guest, Bo Loudon. Bo is an incredible young man who I've gotten to know recently and certainly have watched him from afar inspire a new generation of Americans, particularly when it comes to sort of this sentiment of American patriotism and asking ourselves a different set of questions instead of listening to, frankly, the corporate media, Hollywood, even the music industry that is out there that really does try to sway and influence people, and particularly young people, to think differently about how America is or how America should be. And when I see people, especially young people like Bo, and there are others out there like him, and maybe one of the things, Bo, if you could, what is the circle of young people that you have now that are like you, that I know are out there, and we probably know a few of the names. I'm a big fan of Hannah Faulkner as an example, and there's some others, but who are some of the others out there that you feel people need to also be listening to, for the young people out there?
Well, you know what? I mean, I'm not even saying it has to be someone with a massive profile. 41 million Gen Z voters will be registered to vote and will vote in this election. So that's a big voting block of this election. It's going to be massive, and I think it'll be the biggest voting block. I'll go on the street though. I'll have an Uber driver who just turned 18, and he'll rant to me, and he'll be like, you know what? I'm a Christian, and as a Christian, I cannot vote for Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris has all these terrible policies. She's gonna. When they have the DNC on a national stage, they're offering free abortions, and that's really their main talking point. Other than lying about what Trump's going to do, they just tell us all about how much they're gonna make abortion the most accessible thing ever, and they're gonna make sure that every young girl can have an abortion and can have gender transitioning surgeries. So, I mean, that is not the America that anyone wants, and I don't think that's the America any Gen Z voter really wants. So, I mean, there are a lot of great people on social media. I'd love to give you some names. It's just there's so many. I don't want to leave anyone out. But there's just go on social media and they don't even have to be political. But there's people like my friend Bryce Hall, who's on TikTok, and he is a young guy. I think makes the Gen Z cut, and he is a TikToker with 23 million followers roughly. He's got a big following, and all he's posting now is Trump stuff because he's fed up as well. He's just like, I'm not voting for Kamala Harris, and he's getting all this hate from people, but he's like, I'm not voting for Kamala Harris. And he actually got a DM from Kamala Harris's actual Instagram account asking him if he wants to join her side, and he's like, no. She just put no, period. And she's like, oh, understood. She's so sad. But yeah, so I mean, people like that, just your local influencers, your favorite people on social media are probably going to start speaking out for Trump soon enough. You know, your Aiden Ross, who did the interview with him, people like that. And because we're really fed up, and no one wants her as a president. I mean, she's bad enough as a vice president. She's bad enough as the girl who has a terrible track record in politics, who is locking up people for minor drug offenses, and now you have her on stage hardly able to get a sentence out without notes. She's telling everyone, oh, I'll do the debate, but I need a full set of notes, and I need this, and I need to be sitting down. It's like she can't speak without a teleprompter. And then when she does, she's like, oh, I don't know what an ROI is. So it's like that's Kamala Harris. People don't want her in office. You know, she doesn't make America look strong. She makes America look like the weakest it's ever been, the lowest of lows. She's out there in South Korea saying, I'm great to have a partnership with North Korea. Like it's
pretty bad. I mean, you know, it's so unbelievable. What you're saying is it's all true. I mean, this is all true about the person who is currently occupying the vice. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, I wish it wasn't. I wish I wasn't saying the truth. I wish it was something as simple as Trump versus RFK. You know, that guy would be that'd be a fair shot. That'd be a fair candidate to put up. That'd be someone I'm like, ooh, this guy's got some good points. My candidate has a few more. He has a few more better points, but I like this guy, you know? And that's someone who you can respect, even if you disagree with him. But Kamala Harris, someone who can't even speak for herself. I mean, at least Biden had a reason. Like, he had an excuse. That guy was, you know, old enough to be all dementia. And he was eating ice cream every day. That guy has an excuse to be this incompetent. But Kamala Harris has literally no excuse. She just clearly never studied into politics or anything that she's going in. She's just a giant puppet of some people behind her, and it's so embarrassing for our country. It's like the saddest.
I mean, I forget which news outlet it was. You know, maybe at NBC or whatever. When they asked the guy asked her about going to the, you know, she'd never been to the border, and her comment was, "Well, I've never been to Europe either." And I'm thinking to myself, "Oh my God, we are in such deep trouble when we have a person, you know, of really just incredible, you know, low intellectual abilities." And I hate to say it like that but that's who she is. And despite having a career in as a political person, from a district attorney to an attorney general to a U.S. senator, now vice president of the United States, and now running as the president of the United States for a major party. You know, because you mentioned Bobby Kennedy, you know, someone who I've gotten to know, who I think is a terrific person. And I do disagree with him on many things, but I also agree with him on many things. And I certainly like him as a person. And I do like some of the things that he'll be able to do. What do you think about his, because this is a huge national security issue to me, because of the type of person that he is, and his background in taking on really critical issues that have to do with healthcare, have to do with security in this country, have to do with national security around the world, where he and I are completely aligned on the idea of ending the endless wars, as Trump and I are aligned. So, what do you think about Bobby Kennedy coming into the fray here and endorsing Donald Trump?
Well, again, I think it's great. I mean, if we had someone like Kamala Harris come out and endorse Trump, it's not a good thing. Tulsi Gabbard came out and endorsed Trump as well. That's someone who, again, you can respect, even if you completely disagree with her, which I'm sure you do, and I'm sure that I do. But you can respect her because she's smart. At least she knows why she believes what she believes. I don't even think Kamala Harris does. And here's the thing that's interesting about abortion that I think a lot of people get wrong. RFK gets right. Whether you agree with it or you disagree with it, but especially if you agree with it, it's not something to be proud of. RFK is not proud of his pro-choice stances. He said every abortion is a terrible thing, and it's a sad thing. However, he supports it, but it's not something to be proud of. It's like, I don't know what you compare it to, but it's not the type of thing you just go out and be proud of. It's whether you agree or disagree with it, it's a terrible thing. It's the number one killer of black babies in the United States. It is not something to be proud of by any means. And when you have these people screaming on stage and making songs about it and having Taylor Swift put stuff out, like it's not some amazing achievement in healthcare like they claim it is.
Or in life.
So when you have someone in life at all, because it's not life, it's killing a life. And it's the most grotesque thing I could possibly imagine. But I respect someone like RFK because he gets it right. He understands that it's not something to be proud of. It's not some amazing accomplishment. It's something that he agrees for his reasons, and he thinks that, at least, we'd be quiet about it, and it's not something you have to go screaming on a national stage. So that's good, and I respect that. I respect RFK for coming out and supporting Trump. I think he gets it. I think leading with the motto that, it's time to put our political differences aside and save the kids, that is an amazing motto. That's the motto that him and Trump are coming out with, kind of. So I think it's amazing, and I think he's going to do great things. I think he's going to sway a lot of liberal voters, and I think it's just incredible. I can't wait to see it. I'm very happy that he came out and is now supporting Trump. And now, it's kind of funny because they now took away his Secret Service. I don't know if you saw that. So now the only real way for him to stay safe is to continue to travel with Trump on the campaign trail, which I hope he does. So yeah.
Well, he'll probably he's going to end up having to get his own security anyway. I mean, just because he's Kennedy, and there's always a threat, and especially with what stand he just took, because one of the things that Bobby Kennedy just did in a big way is he put, we have this phrase, put service before self. I mean, he put country before self. He took a hard look at what was happening to our country, and he realized that if he continued down the path that he was on, running as a major candidate, in a major party, the Independent Party, that he probably wasn't going to win, and that it could actually end up taking away from, in this case, and he made that decision in this case from Donald Trump's candidacy, as he looked at the quote unquote Democrat ticket, which I don't, it's actually a Marxist left socialist ticket now, and he made the right decision. He put country before self, and if there's ever a selfless act in history, you can point to that, because Bobby Kennedy just set a new standard for people that are weighing the notion of whether or not they're going to get involved in politics, particularly politics at the highest level. So we're going to take another break here and come back with Bo Loudon, who's just a great guest and a great inspiration, particularly for young people, but actually for any American who loves this country and wants to see this country continue to be the thriving constitutional republic that we can be under a Donald J. Trump presidency, using the bumper sticker, "Make America Great Again." God knows we need to do that. So on the other side of the break, we'll be right back, and we'll have continue our conversation with Bo Loudon. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is General Mike Flynn, and I'm inviting you to join me on September 4th at 4 p.m. Eastern. That's September 4th, 4 p.m. Eastern. Mark that on your calendars. We'll be live on Patriot TV. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking only to our Patriot TV defenders for an exclusive discussion, a Q&A, if you will. Your presence is crucial as we dive into the matters that shape our great nation. And again, this is only for the Patriot TV. So if you go to patriot.tv, you can register today. There's a banner at the top of the website. You can sign up for September 4th, 4 p.m. Eastern. Together, let's stand strong for America's future. God bless you, and God bless America.
Don't let them win. Patriot TV is committed to delivering the truth. America's new network for patriots is growing fast, and we'd love you to join us as a member of Patriot TV. Your support makes it possible for us to continue to deliver unbiased reporting, thought-provoking discussions, and insights you won't find anywhere else. From in-depth interviews to behind-the-scenes footage, Patriot TV brings you closer to the voices shaping our nation's future. Whether it's political developments, cultural shifts, or global affairs, Patriot TV keeps you informed and empowered. As a member of Patriot TV, you'll get perks like personal invitations to exclusive Patriot TV events, where you can gather and network with like-minded Americans. We'll also host online events throughout the year with General Flynn, who's committed to host live Q&A webinars where callers like you can ask him questions and get real answers. Access to these events will be members only, so go to patriot.tv, click on Become a Member. It's fast and easy. We have a great membership option starting at just $9.99 a month, or save with our annual membership for only $99, or take advantage of the best value, the 2-year membership for just $159. Go to patriot.tv, click on Become a Member. It's fast and easy. Do your part to make sure the truth gets out to all patriots and help ensure future programming. Become a member today. Just go to patriot.tv, click on Become a Member, join today.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to Inside the SCIF. I'm General Mike Flynn. I have my special guest today, Bo Loudon. And Bo, what I'd like to do is let's talk about some things that are going to matter to your generation, and that's really the future of the world, right? And some of the things that are going on globally. And I'd like to just get your thoughts on them, because I think that, you know, the kinds of things that are going through your head and your generation's head right now are super important, because it is your generation that is affected most by things like war. And I tell people that I'm not anti-war, but I tell people that I am anti-stupid war. And we have a lot of stupid things that we get involved in and have been involved in for many, many generations, actually, for many years, decades. And it's sad because there's a sacrifice, and the sacrifice is typically, you know, in the 18 to 25-year-old age group when you're talking about war. And I don't like to see that. I so admire people who join our military to serve our country for various reasons, and then they're asked to go overseas to places and fight in these endless wars that we never seem to. They never seem to end. We never seem to win. It costs us prestige overseas. It costs us, clearly lives, young lives, and it cost us treasure. So maybe we'll take a walk around the world here and just get your views on, like, for example, the war in the Middle East right now. What are your thoughts about what is happening in the Middle East and the conversations that you have with some of your, some of the folks in your age category?
Well, I kind of explain it to him like this. It's like it is the biggest joke, because you have Kamala Harris. No, you have Trump. We'll start with Trump. You have Trump, who wants to secure our borders, make sure our Second Amendment right is protected, make sure our family unit is protected, make sure the wars in other countries are put at bay so that we don't end up getting involved. And he wants to make peace with the world and America. That's basic enough. Trump wants to, like, tuck us in our little house, give us a blanket and some warm coffee, and put our gun on our nightstand and make sure we're all taken care of. Kamala Harris wants to have the border be as open as possible, let everybody come in, take away our guns, spark the flame in the wars of other countries. I mean, it's like they're putting us in an escape room and saying, you got to figure out how to get out. You have no guns, no weapons. All these people are going to be coming in your house very soon, and you got to figure out how to escape. Good luck. It's so stupid. It is. I can't believe it. I mean, Trump was the president who had no new wars in his presidency, and he was the president who stepped foot into North Korea and made peace with them. I mean, things that are just unheard of by any other president ever. And I think that the Ukraine war and the Israel-Palestine war, I mean, all of it, it's just so bad. And we know that Trump would not have let either of those things happen under his presidency. And then you have Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, who just like, go at it, guys, and we're going to keep giving you both money to spark the flame. I mean, that's go launch more missiles. It's so stupid. And I don't know why that we're in a country where it's run like that. Like, they want to get us in the middle and then take away our guns and like good luck on surviving. You know, it's so stupid. And
let me ask you a question, and I maybe I am going to put you on the spot a little bit, and it's not something that I expect you to be an expert on, nor do I even think that you have a deep understanding of it. But let's just talk about the draft, because the draft would affect a young 18-year-old man, and because there was some talk in the last probably year and a half where they were making sure that people were signed up for the selective service, and there was some concern that there was going to be have to be some re-engagement of the draft. And the draft for the audience is a system that we have. It hasn't been practiced in a long time to draft people into the United States Armed Forces in order to beef up our military, to prepare ourselves for defending the United States of America against our enemies, right? So, and for the audience, Bo and I didn't have any conversations other than, hey, do you want to come on this show? So I'm going to ask you, Bo, about the draft. Because, and I'll tell the audience, and I'll tell you this too. People come up to me all the time, and they thank me for my service, because I rose to the level that I rose to in the military, and I served in the military for almost 3.5 decades, and I am honored by that, and I appreciate that, and I'm humbled when they say that to me. I turn it right around usually, depending on the audience or depending on the person, and I ask them, how are they serving? How are they serving our country today? Because not everybody has to serve in uniform. As much as I want our young men and women to feel inclined, or at least consider that career path, or that idea to be able to serve. But people serve in different ways. You are serving in a very unique way, whether you know it or not, by putting yourself out there, and with some risk. And I want this audience to know, and it, there's some risk to putting yourself out there, because you're going to get attacked by people, certainly intellectually, emotionally, and all those kinds of things, in the world of the internet and the world of social media. But there's other aspects of your life that you find yourself when you're out there speaking out in various audiences, that, there's a physical component to that as well. So part of my message to you is that you are serving our country. So what do you think about if our nation, while this administration was still, in power, the Biden-Harris administration, what do you think about the draft, the idea of instituting the draft for whatever it is that we might be facing? What's your thoughts on that?
For me, the military has never been something that I was like, I want to go and do that. I've always been like, I wanted to serve my country, but I've always been very firm on it being in politics. Now, if there were a draft, I would 100% be, it'd be tough. I know my parents wouldn't like it as much, but I would do it 100%. And I have enough guts and enough love for this country that I would be willing to serve. But I can't say that for the rest of my generation. And I cannot say that. I mean, it's almost like a joke. They take my generation and they make them as weak as possible. They give us the worst of foods. They give us the worst of environment. They fill our heads with nonsense, and they make us a bunch of weak soy boys. And then they're like, you guys are the ones we're going to send into war. Like, these guys are going to be screaming and running around. It's going to be so embarrassing. I'm not ready for that. I'd love to say we have a country of tough men that's ready for a draft. I don't think we're ready for a draft. And it's embarrassing. And especially when they're trying to enforce, they're already, without even having a draft, trying to enforce transgenders into the military and stuff. It's embarrassing, and it makes our country looks like the biggest joke compared to all of the other countries. So for something like a draft, I really hope it doesn't happen. I know I'll be first on the list. We took that standardized military test in school, and I did very well on it. Unfortunately, I was in like the 98th percentile, and I get emails from the military every day now. But I'd love to. I'd be ready to. But that would scare me to think about for the rest of my generation.
It's a scary thing. No, I can tell you it's a scary thing, and I think that you're right that what we have done is we've created a generation of young people in this country that don't understand what, the idea of true commitment is and what service means. And again, service doesn't always have to be in uniform. It's serving the country in other ways. And like I said about you, I think that you serve the country in a very inspiring way with what you're doing right now. I mean, God, you're waking up a generation of people with your voice and with your, and with your time and your energy and your intellect. Those are the kinds of things that we need right now. I will tell you that because I've spoken to a lot of young people, and I do it all the time, like we're having this conversation right now. And of course, this is in a much more public forum. But in the different times when I go around the country, I always want to speak to the young people because I want to ask them something similar along the same lines. But one of the things that I am deeply, deeply inspired by is this sense of what I think I need to do. I mean, there are a lot of young people, and I think we do take for granted that we just say, oh, all these young people today, they don't know which end is up, they don't know what they want, all the kinds of things that I think people of my generation will kind of look down their noses and go, those young people, they don't know what they're doing. There's too much of this or too much of that. I actually think just the opposite. And my experience is just the opposite. I talk to enough young people and I walk away inspired. I walk away with this idea that, oh my God, not that I have been mistaken, because I haven't been. I've been engaged. And so this is my message to the audience that listens to this and listens to this conversation with Bo Loudon. The young people in our country, what they want is they want the truth. They want to be told that here are the things that are happening. Here's why we're doing it, and then be allowed to make their own decisions, especially as they start to come of age. From being young adults, basically being like high schoolers, and then walking into a world, whether it's college or some profession or something else that they decide to do in life. And I think that I'm inspired by that. I do know, having served in the military and having gotten to know many, many young people in your age category, and I say in the sort of the 18 to probably 30-year-old, but certainly 18 to 25-year-old. I mean, let me tell you something. There's a lot of Americans out there, and you mentioned the number 41 million, right? In your sort of ballpark generation. I mean, my guess, and I'm guessing, my guess is that we probably have, a large percentage of them that feel just like you. They just don't have the platform necessarily, or nobody is engaging them, and that's why I am so honored to get to know you a little bit here and to have this conversation. We're going to come back after another break, and we'll wrap it up with Bo Loudon. Bo, I appreciate you being able to stay on with me a little bit longer here, and because to me, I find it fascinating just listening to some of the things that you're saying, because, again, you're just reminding me about what I already know. We have a great country. We can be vastly greater with the right leaders, and Bo Loudon, you're one of them. So on the other side of the break, we'll come back to Inside the SCIF with General Mike Flynn and my special guest, Bo Loudon. We'll see you back here in a couple of minutes. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is General Mike Flynn, and I'm inviting you to join me on September 4th at 4 p.m. Eastern. That's September 4th, 4 p.m. Eastern. Mark that on your calendars. We'll be live on Patriot TV. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking only to our Patriot TV defenders for an exclusive discussion, a Q&A, if you will. Your presence is crucial as we dive into the matters that shape our great nation. And again, this is only for the Patriot TV. So if you go to patriot.tv, you can register today. There's a banner at the top of the website. You can sign up for September 4th, 4 p.m. Eastern. Together, let's stand strong for America's future. God bless you, and God bless America.
Looking to give your wardrobe an upgrade? Well, look no further. Here at God Country & Kin, we've got you covered from head to toe, from shoulder to shoulder, and everything in between. Introducing our brand new Patriotic Collection, designed to display your patriotic spirit with a stylish look that's sure to turn heads. And the best part is, you don't have to break the bank to be your best you. Why wait? Visit us online or in-store today and elevate your style with God Country and Kin. God Country and Kin, where patriotism meets style. Shop now. Visit the Patriot TV store and look for the God Country Kin banner to find the perfect outfit, shirt, accessory, or maybe a great hat. You can totally see yourself rocking this hat. I know you can. And check out all the great stuff we've got to show your patriotism at patriot.tv.store. Click that link above that says store and join me there at the Patriot TV store.
The world is about to shift. Banks are going cashless globally with the emergence of central bank digital currency, which will bring with it programmable money and the ability to turn on or off your purchasing power based on your digital social profile. It's like the equivalent of spyware in your bank account. You need to get out of the system with the world's safest and most precious assets, silver and gold. Call Kirk Elliott Precious Metals at 720-605-3900. That's 720-605-3900.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm General Mike Flynn, inside the SCIF with my special guest, Bo Loudon, and we have a few minutes left in this final segment of today's show. One of the things that we've been talking about all kinds of stuff, and I'll kind of do a wrap up here shortly, on some of the main themes that Bo inspires a lot of people. I mean, millions and millions of people about, and certainly has come into my life as a person as I look at these young leaders that we have across our country. And Bo Loudon is he's not a future leader, he's a current leader. And I think people need to understand that we have leaders at all levels. I mean, and I can go through the history books on people who were some of the greatest leaders of all time that were in their early 20s. So never mind some of our founding fathers. So don't ever, for the audience mainly, don't ever underestimate age for maturity. Don't discount, or don't think that because somebody's young that their level of maturity is going to be. I know people that are my age that are immature. So when I talk about immaturity, it's about just understanding and having a perspective of the things that are going on around us in our own environments, but also going on around the world. And we've had some great conversations here with Bo today. Let me ask you, when you're out and about doing the things that you do, like what's a day look like? What's a day in the day of Bo Loudon? What's a day look like? You get up in the morning, what do you do? I mean, I think that this audience would be interested in that.
Well, my schedule is very convoluted. It's crazy. I can't go to a regular school because I went to the last one, and at a certain point, it was a Christian private school, oddly enough, but I'd have kids coming up and wanting to almost fight me, like literally every single day. So just because of what I've said, and now all those same kids will message me now and say, dang, you were right about everything that I thought you were an actual racist for or whatever. But I can't go to regular school for many reasons. One being that I travel so much. But I just get up and I love this country, and I think it's worth fighting for. And I want people to be ready. Like you brought up the draft earlier. I want people to be ready for something like that. Trump wants to make America great again. Why are we supposed to care about fighting for this country if it's not great? And you know what? We as Gen Z, we love this country. We love Teslas. We love social media. But we don't want Tesla to be the only car. Okay, we want to have our gas cars and we want to have our electric cars. We don't want social media to be censored. We don't want our favorite celebrities, comedians to be canceled. Like that's not the America that we want. And most importantly, we want to just have an opportunity at the American dream, which Joe Biden and Kamala Harris has effectively killed. They have killed the American dream. They have destroyed our economy in every way that they possibly can. They want to make our children as mentally screwed up as they possibly can. They want to make our country as unsafe as possible. It is the worst of the worst, and I cannot believe that this is even a real election that we're playing out. And I don't believe that she has any real supporters. I think once we handle the voter fraud and handle the millions of dollars that she's putting into paying off people to attend to her rallies or to come perform or to make digitally edited. They don't want us to use the term AI, but they admitted the photos that they've been putting out were digitally edited. So we don't want that. And we want it better for our country. I want our generation to be proud to serve. I would love a generation where our country is so great that we would almost be happy for a draft, because we would know that we're fighting for something good. My generation does not know that yet. They have not had that taste of America that you once had. So I'd love to get there. I just watched a great movie. I went to the premiere of Reagan in Nashville. I hope you all go see it on August 30th. It was a phenomenal movie. Dennis Quaid was really well done. And that shows. And actually, when I went to the premiere, Dennis Quaid came out before the movie started. He said, this movie is a movie not about Democrats or Republicans. It's a movie about America. And it's about how great America used to be and how great America still can be. And he's very careful with his words, because he's not saying that America is great now, because it really isn't. I would love for it to be, but it needs to be made great again by Donald J. Trump, and I know that it will, and I know that he will he will inspire my generation, and he'll continue to. I'm lucky that I have the fire in my soul that no matter if Kamala Harris or Trump wins, I'm still going to continue fighting on social media. I'm still going to go into politics one day and fight them up there, but I can't say that for the rest of my generation, and I hope we get to a point where we're all proud, and I hope we get to a point where we've all served in some way, like you have, and that's my biggest hope for this country. So every day I get up and I put on my shoes and I get ready to go out there and think about what am I going to say today that's going to hopefully get one of those people to join my side. And I've got enough.
That's amazing.
So far, so.
That's amazing. I'll tell you, again, you don't know how many people that you actually inspire, and many people will come up to you in time and tell you, I heard you say this, I heard you say that, I saw you do this. And they're going to tell you things like that, and you're going to realize, wow, what I've done and what I've tried to do is to just basically tell people what I believe honestly, and then try to inspire them. Even though one of the things that is a real character trait of yours is there's a humility that comes across in you that is really important. It's an important aspect of being a great leader, and I think that as you go about your daily business, because we are facing times in this country where, we've touched on a little bit of the Middle East war. We've touched on, you mentioned the war in Ukraine and what's going on over there. I mean, I mentioned early at the very beginning that the Chinese Air Force just violated Japanese airspace for the first time in history. And that is a big, big deal. And that just happened that happened overnight. We haven't touched on it too much here today inside the SCIF. I have spoken about this, but Russia in the last 12 hours just announced a shift in the global economy as it relates to these, what they call the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. They just announced that in the last 12 hours. So these are some I would call tectonic shifts that are occurring, and these are all external to the things that are happening that you've touched on here, that you've touched on the last 45 minutes or so, about things that are happening right here at home. Because I hate to sit here and say America's not a great country. The American people are great people, but they need to be well led. We need great leaders, and we have great leaders in our midst. You're one of them. We have, other people that are aspiring leaders. We have other people that have stepped into the political fray, like Donald Trump. Trump never wanted to be in politics. He didn't have to be. He could have, like he always says, he could have had a great life, but he decided, and I know this because I've had this conversation with him, he absolutely loves America, so he stepped into the political fray. We talked about Robert Kennedy, Bobby Kennedy Jr., and why he is doing what he's doing. He stepped into the political fray. They tried to crush him. They really tried to crush him. And now he's decided that for the good of the country, he's going to put the country first. and over himself, and he's going to join forces with Donald J. Trump. That's leadership. So we need to have this coming together of great, inspiring leaders, young and not so young, who are willing to put it all on the line, and you're one of them. So I know we have just a few minutes left. If you can, Bo, for the audience, again, where can people find you, and what's so the various social media platforms, your taglines and all that, if you have a website or something like that. And then what's the big message that you want to leave with this audience here inside the SCIF?
Well, I hope that I'm glad my social media is as easy to find as, the America that we can be. And I would love for the 300,000 migrant children that Biden has lost to be found as well. And, I want Gen Z to be safe, and I want Gen Z to be secure, and I want our country to be great again. And I want to experience it, and then, like you said, the American people are great, and we have all the potential to be. But I haven't experienced the true great America that it once was, under like a Ronald Reagan presidency, or where we were just getting when we had Trump as president. I want to experience that. I want to live through it. So I'm glad I will be able to go down in history and tell my grandkids that I voted for Donald Trump. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, I want our country to be protected, and I want to be able to find those migrant children that are missing. I want our guns to be in every household. I want the Bible to be back in schools, and I want America to be thriving under the Judeo-Christian values that we were founded upon. That's it. That shouldn't be too much to ask, and that's a very basic ask, and that's exactly what Trump's going to do when he gets reelected. So, no more transgender books in schools, hopefully. Again, like I said, you guys can all find me on @BoLoudon on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube even, and TikTok. And then, yep, you got it right, General, when you said at Bo on True Social.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, listen, for everybody, and to you, Bo, and your great family too, and what I try to do is to touch on different things, different aspects of security here on this particular podcast. And security is a big, big deal to me because it's about the safety and security of all Americans, and that we take care of America first. You mentioned, half an hour ago about a house, right? Our home, right? We want to take care of our home first. That's what America First is about. And making America great again is really the bumper sticker that Donald Trump grabbed hold of, and it has moved, literally the entire country to debate that issue, make America great again, because we can be great with great leaders, and only with great leaders, because, leadership can be bad too. And we've got negative, we've got bad leadership right now inside of the administration, and they're dragging our country down. So the idea of America First is put America first, first and foremost, take care of our own house first. Let's fix the problems we have. I love the fact that you brought up this issue of these children that are missing. It's hundreds of thousands, and it's in the last 3 years of this administration. So the big issues that we hit on today really were family, children, the idea of peace in our lifetime, and being able to fight for peace. We need to fight for peace. And then, of course, the safety and security of every single American. So, Bo Loudon, God bless you, buddy. Thank you very much. And we'll see you on the high ground. To everybody, welcome to Inside the SCIF with General Mike Flynn. And we'll see you here next week. Thank you.
General Michael Flynn's military career included a key role in shaping U.S. counterterrorism strategy and dismantling insurgent networks in the Afghanistan and Iraq wars. He was given numerous combat arms, conventional, and special operations senior intelligence assignments. He became the 18th Director of the Defense Intelligence Agency in July 2012. And he was the 24th U.S. National Security Advisor for the Trump administration. You want intelligence? This guy's got it in spades. This is Inside the SCIF with General Michael Flynn.